Hello friends, Kisan is here again and welcome you in this video tutorial. In previous video tutorial we have learned how to create a session factory in Hibernate 5, and this is the project which we have created in previous video tutorial. This project already I have uploaded on the GitHub, and GitHub location I have specified the respective video tutorial. And this project also I have posted on my newly created blog. Is called KK Java Tutorials blogspot.in, and here if you go, then if you can see in popular posts, there are two posts which is related to a Spring, which is related to the Hibernate. And if you click on the Hibernate 5, and you'll see there is two posts with complete description. So if you want to see complete description about the each and every files which is available on my blog, so you can go to this blog and read, right? And here I have linked my videos, YouTube videos as well. So from this blog itself you can watch my video, right? So that's all about my previous project and blog. Now let's come back. And here in previous video tutorial we have learned how we can create a session factory using configuration file. So Hibernate cfg.xml file, we have specified the all database related information, right? And we had created Hibernate util, and this is the way to basically create a session factory in Hibernate 5, right? So here I have created a static block because I want this code to be executed once, right? So as we know that session factory is very expensive object, so that should be created only once, right, in your application. So when first client will call this method get session factory by its class, so Hibernate util dot get session factory, because this is a static method, so you can call by the class name itself. So when first time client will call this get session factory, then this block will be executed, a static block will be executed, right? And after that this is not going to execute, right? So because here we are checking if session factory is null, then execute this code. So once this code will be executed, and this is a static, right? So this variable is a static, so that will be in the this is common for the all objects, right? So this is common for the all clients, right? And same created session factory will be returned to the every client, right? So that's the purpose to create a static factory, right? But here if you look in this example, we have used configuration file to specify all the database related information, right? Now all the Hibernate related property we have specified the configuration file. And if you look into this source code, then we are calling a method is called configure method, right? So here we call the configure method. If your configuration file name is something else, then in double quotes you will have to pass your configuration file name. But as we have followed the default naming convention Hibernate cfg.xml, in that case you don't need to pass this name, right? So now thing is that we don't want to use this configuration file. Everything we want to do in the Java itself, right? So how we can do that, right? So that's pretty straightforward. So project already I have created with different name, but if you look into the client program as well as pom.xml is as it is, I have copied in this project. Only changes will be in the Hibernate util class, and I have deleted Hibernate CFG file from the resources folder because that is not needed at all. So that's what I have given the project name Hibernate session factory creation without config file. So you can see the project name, and here we don't have configuration file, right? So that I have deleted. Now if you look into the class, then that is very much similar to the previous, except here what you can see, two static property I have declared on the top of the class. First is the standard service registry, and second is the session factory. Why we have declared static? Because these two variable I am going to use inside the static context or static block, right? If you do not declare static, then this variable you cannot use inside the static block. That's a core Java concept, nothing related to Hibernate specific, right? Here in first line I have created an object of a standard service registry builder, right, by using the default constructor. Now I have created a map, right, and I have given the proper description as well. So map name I have given DB settings, right, database settings, and here we have used key as in environment class. You have a different static constants, right? So we can call by its class. So URL, username, password, driver class, and dialect. These are the property I have specified in the map as a key value pair. So earlier these things we had specified in the Hibernate cfg.xml file, right? So this all properties I have specified in this map, and this map DB setting I'll pass to the apply settings API. So a registry builder object we have created, that's the reference of standard service registry builder, and we are calling apply settings, and we are passing this DB settings to this method, right? So this is the way to apply database setting. Now registry builder is having a method is called build. So we are calling the build method, and this follow basically builder design pattern, and that's return us the reference of a standard service registry. And this standard service registry reference we are just passing to the metadata sources constructor, and in that way we are creating an object of meta sources. And as we had seen in the previous video tutorial, meta sources method is having a method is called get meta data builder, and we call the build method on it, and this returns us the reference of metadata. And we are calling get SessionFactory builder method on metadata, and finally we are calling build method, which will return you the SessionFactory itself, right? And these things happening in the static block. So this will be executed only once. Now when client will call this method first time, get SessionFactory, right? So this factory is going to return, which will be created in the static block itself. So it's a pretty straightforward, right? Client program is the absolutely same. Here client program we have created on SQL, right? And in session we are calling a method is called create native query, and there we are passing this SQL query and calling get single result, because this is going to return you the single result, right? What is the current version of your database? That's gonna return, and that we have typecasted into a string, and just we are printing over here MySQL database version is whatever version after querying the database is getting returned, that I'm trying to print. So it's pretty straightforward. If you look into the pom.xml, that is also same as a previous project itself. So here there are two dependencies I have added for MySQL. First dependency I have added for the MySQL connector, because we are using MySQL database, and second dependency for Hibernate. So we are using the current version of Hibernate, that is 5.2.11, and we have added one plugin which helps us to basically generate the executable jar and what Java source and target version we have. So here we are using Java 8. So that's the all about this pom.xml. Now let's run this project and see what outcome is coming. So we are expected to get the MySQL current version, right? So and here we got the result, right? So that means we got the SessionFactory created. So Hibernate util.get this SessionFactory, this returns basically SessionFactory itself. Now we are calling the open session, which gives you the single one session from the SessionFactory. And as we know that from Hibernate5 onwards, SessionFactory basically session is an interface which basically extends auto closable interface. So that's the reason you can use session as a try with resources, and that's the feature of JDK 1.7, right? So and why I am using try with resources, because as we know that in Hibernate when you get the session, and once you are done with the session in the try block, then in finally block always you will have to close the session, right? And that's the basically you are doing the cleanup operation, right? So if you do not close, then in development that's fine. But in prod environment there is chance to get the out of memory exception, right? And there is because a lot of sessions are getting created. If you have a web-based application, then a lot of session will be created by the different client, and if you are not closing, then this will take the memory forever, and after some time your JVM will be flooded with a lot of session object, and it will turn up with the out of memory exception. So if you use try with resources, then as we know that this implements this interface extends auto closable. So auto closable has a close method, and that will be called automatically by the JVM end of the program, right? So that's all about this project. I hope you enjoyed learning this project. This source code I'm going to upload on the GitHub, and GitHub location will get in the video description. And this code also I'm going to post on my newly created blog, KK Java Tutorials blogspot.in, and here you can go, and here I'll provide a little bit of description about this project as well with the source code. So thanks for watching this video, and see you next video tutorial.